Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakodash, and doing honors to the apostles and elders of Great Muslim, and salutations to the hopeful elect. This is your brother, I am Noah Allah from Jimma, Chicago. And as you can see here, I got here on the news already, and this was on the mainstream media as of yesterday. And basically, they were on the news, alright, they were talking about FBI towards a tea attack on the White House UFC Freedom event, alright? And what first came to mind is that I thought this was going to be a tea attack that they would blame on Iran. But turns out, and what it seems, what they're trying to push forth is, they're trying to push forth that domestic tea is the main problem in the United States. And I'm gonna just play this video because, hey, everybody's waking up to the fact that the so-called white man is the devil that's currently rolling this earth right now. And you see what this man is doing, all right? He's causing these wars to happen, all right? They do a lot of weird shit behind closed doors. They do a lot of satanic rituals. They are, as what you called, trying to be careful with my words, alphabet community, PDF, everybody can see that, all right? Everybody sees that, all right? And Esau is ashamed of it, all right? And he's trying to cover it up, all right? He's trying to make it sound like as if it's a conspiracy theory, all right? Esau's trying to get you to think that all that is just a bunch of conspiracy theory. But overall, all right, according to the scriptures, all right, the wicked that is in rulership is the so-called white man, all right? But I'm going to go ahead and play this video. I'm going to make sure I'll just run by it quick. But this is what's coming down the pipe. And we could very well see martial law within this year, probably this summer. And anything can pop off anytime now.
Foils a terror plot targeting the UFC Freedom 250 event held at the White House this weekend. Multiple people from several states have been arrested, including 2 men from Southern California. Good afternoon. This is the KTLA 5 News at 4. I'm Samantha Cortese.
And John. Esau Edom, he owns the mainstream media, all right? He owns every news station, all right? And he basically wants to put what he wants up on the news. And right here, all right, this could be the catalyst to basically, basically staging a false flag tea attack in the coming weeks for him to start implementing martial law, all right?
Federal investigators say the group discussed using drones, explosives, and other weapons at the UFC event attended by thousands of people.
KTLA's Lauren Lister is following the latest developments, joining us now live in the newsroom with more. Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Sam. Hi, John. We're learning a lot of new details from the criminal complaint and seeing our first images of those California suspects. According to the Justice Department, 2 Southern California men alleged to be part of the plot. 24-year-old Brian Omar Roa of Cali Mesa, as well as 32-year-old Michael Allen Thomas of Pinion Hills. They are 2 of 5 men accused of plotting an attack at the UFC Freedom 250 event held at the White House Sunday. According to the charges, they conspired to plan and execute a mass casualty event targeting U.S. officials who were attending, planning to deploy drones armed with explosive force and evacuation, then deploy snipers to fire on high-value targets fleeing. The Justice Department says the FBI became aware of this June 10th, making arrests over the weekend. Also, those arrests in Ohio, Missouri, and Nebraska. Much earlier today, the president told reporters he hadn't heard of the plot. The vice president reacting on Fox News' Fox and Friends.
This is what happens when people turn the rhetoric up so loud that disagreeing with somebody is a cause for violence. That's the place that we've come to, unfortunately, with too much of our political rhetoric. We got to tell everybody to tone it down. And I hate to say this, but it's true.
The Justice Department
damn.
reports search warrants, including at the SoCal suspects' residences in a vehicle, turned up multiple firearms and ammunition. Court documents allege Roa and Thomas discussed living in Southern California and met at least once in the past month to practice marksmanship tactics. Investigators say the group connected through a TikTok community called Vanguard of the Old and communicated in a signal chat called Hunters, with members promoting a violent anti-government ideology and discussing overthrowing the U.S. government, alleging that this group thinks the government is run by pedophile elites and Israel and that President Trump is complacent.
And, you just heard what she said, that this government is ruled by, PDF. And you know what? But I'm not gonna say so much about it because basically Esau can easily strike your channel. But I want to be cautious with the words that I say. But you get what she was saying. But now it's to the point where it's not a conspiracy theory. Everybody's seeing this. Everybody's seeing this on the news. All right, you got the PDF files that are basically released, and DJT name is all over in those files, right, in those documents, right, and all those other elites. They're basically in high seats currently. All right.
Spoke to an expert on extremism. I'll have more on that in the next hour. Federal authorities did say Roa denied involvement in the plot, but did admit to trying to drive to the Capitol to protest.
And I believe this to be as Esau's way, to basically have people think that it's just a conspiracy theory at the end of the day, but nobody's buying into that shit. All right, nobody's buying into this shit at all, because now you got the Mamlukites. All right, now they have provoked Iran to war. All right, which will soon lead to a draft. The majority of these YNs and youngins and shit will be drafted into that war. All right. And Esau, he knows that he's getting exposed, and he knows that he has but a short time, and this is why he has these narratives that he's trying to put on the news. All right, making it sound like it's a conspiracy theory, or using the mainstream media to paint a narrative where there is a problem in the United States that domestic tea are becoming a major problem. All right. Hey, the scriptures tell you, 2 Corinthians 2:11 says, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." And that's right. Esau Edom, all right, he is sly and crafty. All right, he is a very good liar. All right, he owns the mainstream media. All right, he could paint whatever narrative he wants on the mainstream media. He can make everything what you see on the news. Well, currently he's trying to do that, but now he can't. All right. But basically, he's got AI running and shit. All right. He pushes a lot of propaganda. Still is right now. All right. And it's going to get to the point where they're going to make domestic tea as the major problem, and who has been labeled as domestic tea for the most part. All right, it will be the prophets of the Lord. All right, the men of the Lord of Great Millstone, starting with apostles and others, of Great Millstone and on down. All right, they have been exposing Esau for many years, according to the scriptures. All right, where Esau is being made bare. All right, by these scriptures. All right, the Lord is making Esau being made bare. All right, and hey, the apostles they've been telling you about this wicked man Esau. All right, that he has a cabal. All right, behind closed doors, they basically own everything. All right, they run everything. All right, they do these satanic rituals. They do a lot of PDF file behind closed doors. all right? And these elites, all right, they want to accomplish a new world order, all right, by the way of, implementing the R4D microchip. But this is what Esau is trying to do, all right? But it says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And we see exactly what Satan is trying to do, all right? And there could be a scenario in the next month or so where there could be an attack, where Esau could declare martial law, and the insurrection would, definitely come. But he will also paint the prophets, the men of the Lord, as domestic tea. And let's go ahead and get out the word domestic, tea. Domestic tea is defined in the U.S. federal law as violent, criminal acts dangerous to human life that appears to be intended or intimidate or coerce a civilian population, influence government policy, or affect government conduct. And we're just prophets, all right? We're just prophets of the Lord. We're telling you, of the prophecies that are to come. We're just here to wake up our people and tell you and warn you of the things that are about to come to pass. All right, and everything according to the scriptures, all right, are faithful and true. All right, Esau is getting exposed by his own people. Esau is getting exposed and being made bare because of these scriptures that are coming out. All right, showing you the true nature of Esau Edom, who he really is. He is the wicked. He is the devil. All right, he is the one that is in rulership right now that's causing the people to mourn. And Esau is affected by that. All right, he sees that he's getting exposed by the prophets, and this is why, he's starting to use that word more, domestic tea. Because, hey, there's about to be a famine of the word. It's going to come to a time where, the prophets, the men of the Lord, are no longer going to be out there in the highways and byways for any longer. All right? Because it's just going to get that bad to the point where, hey, a lot of us are going to be persecuted. All right? We're going to have bounties on our heads. We're going to be thrown in prison. All right? As what the scriptures say is that Satan shall cast you into prison. All right? These things are coming because it's spoken in the scriptures. Nonetheless, I'm going to bring you out 2nd Ezra 16 and see if I can read it. But yeah, the insurrection is coming. Martial law is coming, all right? And you can see that Esau is paving the way for martial law. You got ICE out here, and they're still out here, all right? They have legal authority to gun down civilians in a state of civil unrest. All right, they basically signed that into DOD directive since September of 2024. All right, martial law is coming. All right, because Esau knows that they have but a short time. But no, let's just here is 2nd Ezra 16 and 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. And those that fear the Lord, this is basically speaking about the children of Israel. All right? Because we are the apple of the Lord's eye. All right? But it says in every place and in the next cities, a great insurrection. And insurrection, we're going into that word real quick. But basically, it's martial law. An insurrection is a violent uprising by citizens or subject intended to overthrow, disrupt, or resist an establishment government authority. But hey, this word can be used as, when they declare martial law, all right, they'll be as insurrection, that they be coming after the prophets, the men of the Lord, all right, because we have this word, we have this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, but part of it is that we're also exposing Esau, all right? But here, they're showing you the insurrection against the federal, the federal government that is a crime, and this is what's coming down to the bite. All right. Basically, when the next attack happens, all right, they're gonna blame it on domestic tea, and they might even try to. Well, they are going to, because it's in the scriptures that they're going to come after the prophets, the men of the Lord. All right, and some of them are going to be cast into prison for more than 10 days, could be even months. They're going to use AI. They're going to definitely use AI to paint the prophets as domestic tea. Revelations 12, and I'm going to start with actually I'm going to start with I'm going to start with verse 10. Actually, start with verse 10. It says, "And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his Messiah. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night." And then the accuser of our brethren is about to be cast down. All right, because you're seeing that these prophecies are coming to pass, and he's letting you know that Esau's rulership is coming to an end. All right, verse 11, "And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb that being Yahushua, and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death." And that's us right now. That's us, the hopeful elect, the prophets of the men of the Lord. All right, verse 12. Because we're not for this world. All right, we don't love our lives. All right, because according to the scriptures, all right, we are making our bodies as a living sacrifice. All right, so that the remnant of our people can receive this word. So the faster when they receive this word, the sooner we can get the hell up out of here. All right, Yahushua returns and delivers us. It says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." And that's right, that the devil is about to come down with great wrath. All right, you see how he's trying to set up the plot to stage a false flag domestic tea attack in the coming weeks. And now we're seeing the beginning stages of it. He's trying to paint a narrative right here, You see? He's trying to paint a narrative. And we're going to see martial law. All right, shit's about to get intense. But nonetheless, that's all I wanted to go into. But with that, I hope this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, and Shalom.